about interracial relationships. If you are in one, if you're considering getting in one, if you haven't. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about interracial relationships. I guess you're wondering why my husband is not here, it being that we're talking about interracial relationships. Well, first of all, it's my channel. No, I'm kidding. But he is at work and he's on call, and so you get just me today. It's all me, it's all me, it's all me, and I'll be talking about it on his behalf. No, not really, because he really doesn't care. Not do I. I really don't care, but this is something that a lot of people talk about, and every now and then we have friends asking us questions, more me than him. So I just figured, you know what, I'll come here and talk about it, because there are some interracial coupling also on YouTube. There are other vloggers who are in interracial relationships and marriages as well, and they've shared their truths, which is fine. You know, I'm just gonna share my own truth here. Now, before I get started, I just want to say this. Our race does not matter. It's not the front and center of our entire relationship. My husband and I met and fell in love. We've both dated people of our races and outside our races as well. So us being together did not come as a shock or surprise. We just were looking and open to love, and that's precisely how we got to this point. So just want to go ahead and put it out there. We did not go out specifically looking for a black girl. I did not go out specifically looking for a white guy. We just happened to meet and fall in love and get married and live happily ever after. Alright, so I'm sorry, I'm cracking myself up, but hey, listen, life is good. I'm happy, I'm blessed, I'm thankful, and sending positive vibes your way, and hopefully you can laugh at the silly things in life as well, because what's going on in the world right now, it's crazy. Alright, so when we and I got together, I don't think interracial relationships, specifically swirling, you know, and if you don't know what swirling is when a black girl specifically is coupled with a white man. Then every other type of interracial dating is just interracial dating, but swirling is a different category in and of itself. Why? I do not know, but I'm a swirler. I'm part of Swirl Nation, Swirl and Proud, Swirl Girl, Swirl Squad, all of it in one, and it's fine. It really doesn't mean anything at all. Anyway, when we got together, swirling was not a thing at all. It was not as mainstream as it is now. Every other commercial you see a black girl and a white guy, and we're walking down the streets in Manhattan or even in Jersey, and we see a lot of couples who look like us, and it's both interesting, but at the same time it's kind of like, where were these people when it was just us walking down the street, when we're just still different from everyone else? So all that goes to say that is now more common than it ever has been. And you know, it's exciting to watch. I'm happy, you know, to see how everything has evolved, especially with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Now, if you guys are gonna sit here and give me the whole debate about Meghan Markle not being black, she being biracial, let's just take that to a different channel. She's biracial, and she's also viewed as black by some people. I happen to view her as black. I also happen to view her as biracial. Again, it's not that serious. She's a human being first, as we all are, before we confine ourselves under a label or category where you can just check off and be like, hey, yes, I'm this person. So back to the video. Truths about interracial relationships. If you are in one, if you're considering getting in one, if you have any hang-ups, first of all, don't have any hang-up. As far as the person is a good individual, as far as he or she loves you, he or she shows genuine interest in you, and he or she meets the criteria in your mind that you've put together for mate selection, then go for it. Don't worry about stereotypical concerns and superficial needs that just don't, you know, just don't make it. If anything, I think interracial coupling is very interesting, if you will. I do come from a family filled with interracial marriages. My eldest brother in Germany, his wife is German, and my cousins, you know, my mom's brothers had wives from India, and you know, I can't remember now because it's so old, but anyway, so at a very young age, I was exposed to interracial dating and interracial marriage. So when Ray came along in my life and I introduced him to my family, it was not a thing. It was not a thing at all. So as far as being in an interracial relationship, interracial marriage, being a swirler, I'm going to tell you what exactly that entails. First thing you need to get used to, you are going to get stared at a lot. People stare at us a lot when we walk down the street. I don't know why. Sometimes I actually make fun of it and I look the person back in the face and I'm like, boy, you haven't seen an interracial couple before, or boy, you haven't seen two people walking down the street together before. Like, I just try to make light of the situation and actually embarrass them before they embarrass me, in a totally non-confrontational way, just in a way that, you know, both of you smile. And I can't count how many times my husband and I have been together when we get either, I see it, he doesn't, but we get stared down by people of my race or his race, and I just think it's funny. But also we get complimented. I would never forget our very first trip to New Orleans. We were out at this restaurant and it was like a rooftop. We're having a good time and the waiter walked by and he was like, huh, he got himself a good one too, huh? She's really good, or something like that. I don't know, I can't do the New Orleans accent, but it was something like that. That was like 4 years ago. And then recently, we were walking down the streets in Manhattan and a guy just pointed out to my husband and was like, that's you? And he was like, yeah, that's my wife. And they're like, oh man, that's great, man. And they're just like, you know, and everybody around us just started laughing because it was funny. So I don't know that that would happen with a couple of the same race. I'm pretty sure it does. I'm just saying that my experience as a swirler, you do get stared at a lot. Sometimes it comes from a place of interest, sometimes it comes from a place of confusion. People who don't understand that, yes, race is not a factor. When two people get together, they look confused and they look like they have issues with themselves, because it's definitely not my issue. But they also are stares of like, you go girl, or you go guy. So either way, you are going to get stared at a lot. So get used to it, get ready for it, and embrace it. It's gonna get to a point where you don't notice it anymore. I don't notice it as much as I used to way back when. It's just part of, you know, our relationship now. The second thing is people will make assumptions about you without having an idea whether or not they're true. For example, my husband is a doctor, I'm an attorney, and sometimes when we go out to dinner, it's my treat. Sometimes it's like, you know what, babe, you had a long day at work, blah, 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 this is what's going on, let's go out and have fun, my treat. Other times you split the bill. 98% of the time when we go out, he gets the bill. Like, even though I was the one ordering everything and I'm the one paying, if it's my treat, he still gets the bill. People assume that he's paying for me. People always assume that he's the one paying for me. If we go shopping and we're carrying shopping bags, and some of them are mine, they assume that he bought it for me without actually considering for a second that maybe, just maybe, she's just as successful as he is. So people, I think, and I could be wrong, I think that that will not come into play as much if we were of the same race. I don't know, I could be wrong. But I'm just saying that people make assumptions about our relationships by virtue of their interaction with us without having a clue who we are, without having a clue that I am not a bimbo and he is not my sugar daddy, that in fact we are two both hard-working professionals trying to make a life for ourselves. And sometimes I foot the bill, and sometimes we go half, and sometimes he goes all the way. But they always, not always though, like at least 98% of the time, give him the bill, which I find hilarious. I initially used to get upset over it, but then I just got over it because I said, what's the point? You know, why am I even, people are gonna think whatever they want to think regardless. I don't know this person, he's not gonna see me here at another time. The very few restaurants we frequent enough for the people to know us, except the restaurant where we met and we had our engagement party. Shout out to Moonshine and the entire crew. We love you guys, and whenever we go there, everybody knows our names because we're the Moonshine couple. Anyway, I digress. And then, believe it or not, after a few days together, after spending some time with this person, you truly would not see color. When I started dating Ray, I would be amiss if I tell you that I did not notice that he is of Dutch origin or he is white/Caucasian. Of course I did. I'm not blind. The same way he noticed that I am black, that I am of African descent, that I am Nigerian American, and he noticed that. However, by the time we started dating, not even quite 3 weeks, I realized that I'd forgotten that he was white. Because that, again, is not the front and center of my relationship. I'm not in a relationship with this person because of his race. That's absurd. So you as a person, when you're in a relationship with someone of a different race, you're not going to see color after a while. Mannerisms are different. We all have cultural differences. We all we all have different upbringing and we all think differently. For Christ's sake, we lived on our own, apart. We didn't know each other for years, for the bulk of our lives until we met. So we are going to be our own individual people regardless, but we do not know this race. We do have race discussions based on what's in the news and what's going on, you know, in the fashion world, and we talk about it a lot so we can see things from each other's point of view, and so we can have a solid ground when it comes to how we want to raise our children and the things that we want to hold supreme, which are values like love and family and transparency and respect. So we do talk about race relations, but he doesn't see me as blackity blackity black black black. I don't see him as another white guy. No, he's just Babe, and I'm just a Nat, you know, he's just Babe. So that's something that is an absolute about interracial relationships, and you can ask anyone who's in an interracial relationship, at least for a very long time, and they will tell you that they don't see race after a while. They don't see color after a while. The person is just who they are. As cliche as that may sound, because some people say that, it is actually true. And then, you won't believe this, but hashtag Team Swirl is actually a thing. There's some people on the internet that are obsessed with interracial couples. There's some people on the internet who fan over interracial couples' babies and fan over movies starring interracial couples. I don't know why, but I'm not invested enough to figure out why, because I don't care that much. Because again, I'm not married to an idea or a concept of a person. I'm just married to a person. I read somewhere, for example, you know, Tia and Tamara. Tamara is biracial / black, married to Adam, and Adam is white. I heard that someone took a picture of their kid and created an entire album of it and has it in their house. I think that's very weird. Now, I do have screenshots on my phone of cute kids, some of whom include like the McClure kids, or, you know, my nieces and nephews, but like an entire stranger's kid and having it on your phone as a screensaver, I don't know, but some people are legit obsessed with interracial coupling. I've actually had the online dating profiles use pictures that belong to my husband and I. They stole them from my Instagram profile. They screenshot our photos and use them on online dating sites. And I'm like, that's fine, do what you want to do, but can I get credit, you know, for taking a good picture? Can I get credit for like slaying my hair the right way and, you know, making sure my husband, can he get credit for looking as good as he does, you know, his 6'5" self? I'm just saying. So there's some people who are gung-ho about it. There's some people who are like, I only date XYZ. I only date XYZ race. So there's some people who have weird fetishes about interracial relationships. So that's not me. That's not anyone I know, but I have read about them, and I have, from a distance, encountered some people like that, and I just, you know, just look the other way. I'm like, there's something off about you. This isn't right. Again, our picture has been used on an online dating site to whom we're not affiliated in any way, shape, or form. Weird. But again, it's all part of the craziness that some people have about interracial coupling. And I would say the last thing I'll share with you today, because I have so much more to share, and I don't know if I'm going to cover it all in this video. I have to see how well this video is received. If I get 100 thumbs down, then you can best believe that I'm not doing a part 2 of this video. But if I get a lot of views and likes and shares, I may just continue. But for now, I'll tell you this. When you get into an interracial coupling situation, marriage, relationship, friendship, that's committed, obviously marriage is, you do get to learn from each other's culture and appreciate each other's culture and become a better person from it. Now, I'm not going to give you stereotypical examples. All you have to do is just Google or search the internet and you will find so many stereotypical examples. I will just go with my personal life. I am a Christian and I'm Catholic, and my husband's Episcopalian, which is Catholic light, so we technically are both Catholic. That's how I see it. But I am more spiritual, and I like going to church, and I like to make church front and center to the extent that I can of our lives. Now, he initially wasn't as open, you know, spiritually. He's had his own experiences that showed him that God is absolutely real, and, you know, it's important to have religion in our life. But I like to believe that I have helped him, and I have, by virtue of my African culture, which focuses heavily on religion, I've been able to bring him on along with me on the spiritual and religious journey where he appreciates and understands the value of Christianity as much. On the other hand, he has opened my eyes to certain activities that I would have never paid attention to. He's an avid boater, and by virtue of him just growing up in the local yacht club or learning how to sail and be with his family and learning good life skills that carried him up until now, and a lot of discipline that came with that, has opened my eyes to the importance of having a community of people and a skill set that transcends from just having good grades, getting a good job. There's so much more that's important. I would say that a lot of African parents tend to tell the children, get an education, especially for girls, get an education, get a husband. And for men, get an education, get a wife. There's no focus on other sporting or curricular activities. There's no focus on playing lacrosse, or everybody plays soccer, everybody plays football, so it's understood on a general playing field, but something more skill set specific. There's no focus on sailing or piano lessons or music or the arts, and those are things that I believe, by virtue of his culture, being that he's from New England, those are things that were embedded into him early on, and those are things that I now gravitate toward, that I believe helps you become a well-rounded individual. So we learn from each other, and when you're just growing and taking the best from each other's culture, you just keep making yourself the best. You just keep besting yourself in every way. You just keep blossoming and becoming a version of yourself that the old you 3 years ago would have been like, wow, who is this person? She or he is so, you know, out of my league, but he or she's also so me, and I like this person. So yeah, I digress again. But those are just some absolute truths about interracial relationships that I have experienced. Again, love is love is love is love is love. If you're going out of your way to go look for someone out of your race, you've got it all wrong. Can you find love within your race? Absolutely. Can you find love outside your race? Absolutely. So I hope this video has been able to clarify any myths or, you know, stereotypes or concerns or issues or anything that you may have carried on in your mind, or you may have conceived in your mind or wondered with regard to interracial relationships. I am happily married, and I'm so blessed to have a partner that can call my forever love, and race plays no part in our everyday life. So thanks for hanging out, thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. Be sure to consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed to my channel, and if you are, thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. One love, guys. Bye.